All right, let's jump right into a pretty fascinating and, honestly, a counterintuitive idea. We're going to explore how, in the middle of a huge conflict, the most powerful thing you can do is often to say nothing at all.
So picture a social conflict in your head. What do you see? What do you hear? For most of us, it's just noise, right? It's a battle of who can be the loudest, who can be the most persistent, who can just make the most commotion. I mean, really, put yourself in that situation. You've got something important to say, something you truly believe in. What's your first instinct? To make people listen? For almost everyone, it's to just turn up the volume. And that's the standard playbook, isn't it? You gotta shout, you demand, you argue every single point, you interrupt anyone who disagrees, you just try to overpower the other side with sheer noise. It's just chaos, a really, really loud chaos. Okay, but here's where it gets interesting. What if that whole approach is just wrong? What if in the middle of that hurricane of noise, the single most powerful, most unforgettable thing you could do is just be quiet? And that brings us to this incredible idea, the heart of what we're talking about today, eloquent stillness. Yeah, it sounds like a contradiction, I know, but trust me, it's one of the most powerful strategic tools out there. So what do we actually mean by that? Look, this isn't just about not talking. It's not because you have nothing to say. It's the exact opposite. It's when you choose to use silence strategically to send a message. And man, that message can hit way harder than any slogan you could ever shout. You know, this idea has been around forever. It's not some new age thing. We're talking centuries. I mean, the philosopher Lao Tzu said it best. Silence can be a source of great strength. It's about finding power in the quiet, not just the noise. Okay, so that's the what, but what about the how? How on earth can saying nothing be louder than a whole crowd shouting? Well, let's get into it. Let's break down exactly why this is so dang effective. It really comes down to four key things that happen. First up, it just completely shatters what people are expecting. In a world that's always yelling, silence is jarring, and that disruption grabs people's attention like nothing else. From there, it gives your stance this real moral weight, this conviction. And finally, when a group of people are silent together, wow, that creates a powerful unspoken bond. When you put them side by side, the difference is huge. Loud confrontation is reactive, it's chaotic, it demands you shout back right now. But strategic silence, it's deliberate, it's focused. And here's the kicker. It doesn't demand a reaction. It invites reflection. It gives everyone, even the people who disagree with you, a moment to actually think instead of just shouting back. You know a perfect example of this? Think about the 2-minute silence on Armistice Day. For just 2 minutes, pretty much everything stops. Entire nations just pause. And in that shared quiet, the sheer scale of loss, the importance of remembering, it's communicated more deeply than any speech ever could. That right there, that's eloquent stillness in action.
All right, so this isn't just some philosophical idea. It's a real-world tactic that people use all the time in all sorts of different ways. Let's look at a few.
And once you start looking for it, you see it everywhere. You've got silent marches, which feels so disciplined and solemn. You have the famous sit-ins from the civil rights movement, where that quiet, dignified presence was enough to challenge an entire system. Think about candlelight vigils, how they communicate this shared sense of grief and solidarity. Heck, even in a high-stakes negotiation, a well-timed pause can totally change the game. Here's the tactical genius of it all. Silence completely flips the power dynamic on its head. When you go quiet, you create this void, this vacuum, and people hate a vacuum. The other side feels this incredible pressure to fill it, to say something. And in their rush to fill that silence, they often show their hand. They might reveal their weaknesses or the absurdity of their own position. And just like that, you've taken control of the narrative without saying a single word. So I guess it all boils down to this. We live in such an incredibly noisy world, right? Everyone is fighting for the microphone. But maybe, just maybe, the real power isn't about having the loudest voice. Maybe it's about knowing precisely when to be quiet. So the next time you feel that need to make your voice heard, ask yourself, is it time to just add to the noise? Or is it time to embrace the eloquence of stillness?